It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission really is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, actually the hardworking entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this particular episode, we have the one and only Ewunike, who's in the building. And let me say first hello to her. How are you, Ewunike?
I'm doing great, Shay. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited to be here. I'm awesome.
Well, it's exciting to have you here, by the way. And they're looking at the topic below and they're thinking, happy Black women, reset, restore. Hold on. Reset,
Rest,
restore. Say it
restore,
again.
reset. Rest,
Rest,
restore,
restore,
reset.
reset.
I
Okay,
know.
got it.
It's a
Got it.
lot of
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for helping me out. And so I'm curious. I like to always start off sometime and kind of have a real honest conversation about what are some of the challenges that are
Yeah.
facing women. Number one, from just being happy. Okay, because you said happy Black women. So what's some of the
Yeah.
challenges facing women from being unhappy that are out there today that are holding them back?
Yeah. Let's just be real right off the break. I like it. Well, we can just first by acknowledging that my partner and I, Nona, are focusing on specifically Black women because we can relate to being Black women, to wearing all of the hats that we do as moms, as spouses, as business owners. We are sisters, we're daughters. We have, of course, just naturally being Black women, lots of mothers. We have, lots of hats that we're wearing. And as a result of that, and coupled with the history of putting everyone else before ourselves, making sure that we take care of everyone else's needs, being everything to everyone, whether that's in our communities, our families, at our jobs, our clients, that we then find ourselves just at the end of the day unfulfilled because we have given, we have served, we have provided, we have fed, we have just been everything to everyone, and we have put ourselves last. And so we are addressing that, and that's nothing new. That again, I cannot, be remiss to say that that is something that is a new phenomenon in our society or in our culture, and definitely not specifically within the African American community. The role that African American women have played has always been that, has always been to shoulder the responsibilities for our families and for our communities and to lead and to do so. And, we are here to step in and to disrupt that though, because it is time for us to lead by example and to take care of ourselves so that we can change the generations that we are modeling for right now and who are yet to come something different, and that is more joy and fulfillment for ourselves.
Well said. Happy means different things to different people, right? Somebody say, "So, well, I'll be happy when I earn a bigger paycheck." Someone else might say, "I'll be happy when I find my dream sweetheart," right? Someone else might say, "Well, I'll be happy when the kids are finally away." I mean, whatever it is,
Right.
can we slow down for a moment? They might be thinking, "Be happy when something on the external happens to them," right? Take a
Yeah.
moment if you can and define number one, what does happiness look like to you and what does happiness mean? Now I know it can mean different things, but we'd like to get your view on the world.
Well, let me just go back to the reason why my partner and I decided to focus specifically on the tenets of rest, and for us to focus on how important that is for our happiness. Okay. We're talking essentially to professional Black women who are overcommitted, they are overextended, they are multitasked to the nth degree, and that just leaves them very spent and tired is what we hear a lot. And it's was so that's what we wanted to address originally. The fact that they needed to have space in their lives that they could hold for themselves on a regular basis to just sit and to be still. And for a lot of the women that we work with, being able to do that makes them happy. Being able to sit still and to tune everything else out so that they can tune inward and that they can start to into and to hear what is really in their hearts, what was, and a lot of times we hear divinely placed there that are their big, big, big visions, like what you talk about at the top of this show, which they have to suppress because they are just always on the go. It makes them happy to honestly be able to just be still. So that's why
Mhm.
we focus on the importance of rest for overall wellness. And then we talk about restoring themselves. And we are sharing it within a 5-step practice that we have how to restore yourself, how once you're able to capture that vision that maybe has been sitting dormant somewhere within your spirit, within you for a really long time, and you're able to, through sitting still, through being, through meditation, or just, journaling, a lot of ways in which we're able to, start to listen again inward and then pull that out, then that helps you to restore yourself, your spirit, your energy, which you're constantly giving, right? It helps you to have your cup filled up. For a lot of times, it's women doing so. And it's been years and years until they've been able to do that for themselves because they've been so much just pouring the cup for someone else, have their own cup filled up and restoring themselves. And that makes them happy. That makes them satisfied. Of course, when you feel like you're tapping into what you were a lot of times meant to do, not just what you have to do, right? And not that you don't willingly serve, of course, your family or your jobs or you're serving your clients or you're just out here building community. But how can we do that when we are coming from a place of being unfulfilled ourselves? So that's what happy looks like for a lot of the women that I talk to when they're able to start to act upon those things that are really something that they've had to put aside for a really long time, and that makes them feel like they get a chance to reset. And doing so on a regular basis, this the practice of sitting still and then kind of pulling in what is important to them or what they would like to bring forth in the world, and moving forward on that allows them to do that alongside other responsibilities that they may have in a much happier way.
I love it. And as you're speaking now, we're all wondering. They can read your bio, they'll look below, but they're wondering who is Ewunike? Like, who is this woman, Shay? What's her backstory? What led her to really be on
Right.
the mission that you're on these days? So take a moment, if you will, and spotlight who are you? What's your backstory?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a girl from Detroit, Michigan, who is now living in Puerto Morelos, Mexico.
My
I
favorite spot, by the way. I love that. That's beautiful. Mexico's a beautiful place.
Yeah, Mexico is a wonderful place, and I had actually never been to Mexico before. I came 2.5 years ago with my family on a vacation, and then wound up staying. But I am someone who thankfully had a model in my mother. I really have to give a lot of credit to when we talk about happy Black women. My mother was a community leader. She led all of she had a lot of the responsibilities I just mentioned that just, of course, we as Black women take on or just are upon us just being. And she led an example, though, of creating space for herself to be active, physically active. And she was a early aerobics instructor. And so I saw my mother, out doing runs with her girlfriend. She would gather the women within her friend groups and within our community to be active together. And so I saw the power of that community. And I have been able to, without even realizing what I was doing, as I've gone through different stages of my career, kind of tap back into what I saw, what, was a part of my upbringing, and model that for what I'm doing now. And so I've been an exercise instructor, and right now, what really is I'm passionate about, and I've learned a lot about, it has changed me from someone who has been for 23 years getting people to move very quickly, sometimes faster than they wanted to, and to sweat and to do exercises and do boot camp classes with me, to now having them to stop and find more harmony in their lives. Again, specifically for the audience that we serve of Black women, so that they are able to tap into their true divine self. So I am just out here, so thankful for the examples of my mother and the other Black women who I saw growing up, so that I can now continue to just pass it forward, right? Can continue to
Yeah.
be that example. I have a daughter myself for, what's really important for harmony.
Yeah, if you can't take a moment, because one of the foundations that you talked about before there's rest, you got to take care of yourself, right? And if you were to say, "Hey, Shay," and I know you're a fellow HBCU, and they went to Howard University, by the way. I'm in
Thank
Washington D.C.
you.
You should have stayed here in Washington
Yeah,
D.C. Although I went to Morgan State University, by the way, in Baltimore, Maryland. But my
that's
point is
great.
this: your whole fitness foundation. I want you to take a moment to talk about the importance of health, because if the question was asked to Shay Brown, before you can rest, right, you had to go do something, right? And if you said, "Hey, Shay, what are the three things you need?" I would say, "Well, I need my health, then my happiness, and
Right,
then my wealth." I mean, that's just a Shay Brown order. You put it in whatever order you want, but I would say I need my health, my happiness, and then I need my wealth. My question to you
right.
before we get into reset and then obviously restore and then rest, take a moment to talk about the importance and what women and men, I'm going to throw a few good men in here, can do in terms of making sure we take care of who we are today. And I know you've biked. I know you've done the
Yeah,
fitness thing. I know you've been known as Coach E for so long, by the way. And I love that.
right.
Someone that's run 5 marathons myself and a number of other things. But I want to slow down for a moment and I want to make sure we don't overdress this, because before you can rest, you've got to have good health. So talk about the importance of health and maybe one or two or three ideas that you can share for the busy woman
Mhm.
out there, Black woman that's out there, and the few good men that's out there, so we can still take care of us first before we slow down to rest,
Right.
restore, and what's the last one again? Reset.
Reset.
Yes,
Right.
before we can
Yeah.
rest. So talk
Well,
about the importance of health and having that, because without that, none of this other stuff matters, right? You can go on vacation, you can take yoga, but what good does it do to be on
exactly.
vacation and you can't move around? What good does it do to be in the
I
place of
agree.
getting your
I
mind
agree.
right?
Right. Having your health, being able to be functional, especially as we move further along in our lives, to still be able to move our own bodies without the assistance of someone else. I mean, that's priceless. So, having your health, it is something that is can be done very simply, or worked on, or addressed, I should say. And it's something that unfortunately is not uh, a tenet that within the African American community is a part of our early socialization, as just a necessity, as a part of our lifestyle, that we are outside, that we're active. In fact, unfortunately, we can't be out, maybe for young children, outside within their neighborhoods, within their communities, to the degree that they could say when I was a child, right? Just because of the safety of the world these days. But it's still important for everyone, honestly, whether you are, just learning to ride a bike, to having ridden that bike for years and years, to get out and to be active and to breathe fresh air and to walk and to focus on the importance of just being active every single day. I can't take that down anymore. In fact, it needs to be amplified that every day we need to move our bodies. Okay. And I'm not here to say specifically for how much time. I'm not the American Heart Association, although I follow their guidelines. But seriously, depending on what your ability is, and that's different for everyone, it's important to fit whatever is appropriate for you activity in. And understand that that's also an example that we are setting, not just for, our immediate family, but whoever sees us, that that's important. So it's important to move your body. And then it's also important to, of course, nourish your body properly. We have to be very, very intentional and conscious about doing so these days because of our society would have us to continuously moving, and then leaving us very little time to prepare proper food, right? To home cook or our foods, and so we really have to do the opposite of all of the advertising and the way our society would have us to move in a way so that we can healthfully nourish our bodies. I mean, people are making a lot of money these days on teaching people how to just eat properly. It's the grocery store,
Yeah,
buy
I think
fresh
I
food.
think that's doubly important. I think that's doubly important. My trainer always says you can't outwork your diet, Jay. No matter what, you just can't. And I don't know if that's true or not, but you can't outwork your
It
diet. You
is
can't
true.
outwork your
It's
diet. I'm like,
absolutely
okay.
true. Yeah. I'm sure your trainer would tell you it doesn't matter how many marathons or how much training you're doing for that marathon. If you go to McDonald's every time after a training run, we'll see how far you actually get to the finish line. It's not going to be good for your heart. So let's not do that.
You're
Okay.
right. There's two things I don't care about for my trainer. And I don't care what y'all think. One, I hate leg day. Okay, I don't care when anybody says anytime it's leg day, which it is often. I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. I know I have not changed, and I should, no matter how positive I
Work
am.
those large.
But I will tell you, going through the reps and putting the time in,
Mhm.
it just made a difference. I
Yes.
will say that in the last couple of years. So thank you so much. Shout out to you, man. Not that I want leg day to be the next time we
But
arrive
going
again.
through the reps is for all of us, Shay, right? Going through the reps, even if it's that 10-minute walk that you take because you park your car a little bit further away from the grocery store entrance, right? And or going through the reps where you maybe walk up the flight of stairs to your office as opposed to taking the elevator that day. Or going through the reps can also mean that after dinner you take the family for a walk around the block, and you do that a part of your nightly routine. Those small little incremental things add up to those reps for us to have that healthy lifestyle. Okay. So the activity, the nutrition, and then of course rest. If we're not putting that in, and again, it's something that we have to be very intentional about fitting into our lives for us to then be restored and for us to reset the next day, well, then we're going to be starting off empty. And
Mm.
that's also cumulative when you do that day after day, year after year.
Yeah, as we're listening to you, they're thinking, "Wow, Shay, her life is perfect." I mean, look at this. By the way, she goes to school, and that kind of great. Then she goes off and is this fitness expert, which is wonderful. Now she's helping folks reset, helping them restore, and helping them rest. Pretty cool. And she's even now and found herself in another place, living and just loving life. Let's walk through a segment, if we can, that we have here called "Today is My January 1st." And now allow us to learn a little more about Ewunike. Did I get that right? Ewunike. Did I get that right?
LEDK. Yes,
I got it right. Good, good, good.
LEDK.
I just want to make sure. I'm working on it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting better. Um, and the segment is called "Today is My January 1st." That's the segment. Today is my January 1st. Now, for those folks who tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I know you wait to say those words, and I love it. I love the DMs that I get. Thank you for the emails. But you can say those words today, no matter what your day has been like, that today is my January 1st. For those folks that are new, welcome to the show. We're glad you're here. We're glad you watch. We want to encourage you to continue to tune in and pay this message forward. But today is my January 1st. For us, it represents a do over. It's our personal mantra. It represents a reset, if I can. It's our personal mantra. It means that no matter what has happened in the past, it no longer equals the future. So my question is, she's sitting on the other side, Coach E. I love that name. She's sitting on the other side. When you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? Then what was the time that you had a setback? That you had to reset? That you had to restore? And that you had to rest?
Yeah, I connect so much with today is my January 1st being a fitness professional, because in January, that's when business traditionally always goes up, right? Because everyone's got the resolutions at the top of the year oh, I want to lose weight, oh, I want to get fit, or maybe they even have a more longer term goal. They want to participate in a long distance, race, or get off the couch and do a 5K, something like that. But you know what? I see that then by mid March, if we're lucky, that consistency, that enthusiasm, it across the board, year after year, tends to wane. Right. So I connect with that, but it's important. And having been working with people to experience the benefits of physical activity throughout their lives and to make it a part of their lifestyle, we talk about consistency. And so what I hear, and when people comment, when I think about January 1st, I think about, well, talk to me about, June 1st. That's really what I want people to think about. Where are you going to be in the summer when it's super, super, super hot? When, you have other ideas of vacationing and travel, and the flow season comes in, and you're distracted by all the projects and things that come up, and that enthusiasm is not as high as it was at the beginning of the year. Let's be realistic, and let's think about what your long-term goal is. And for the people who I've been talking to in the fitness realm for years and years, I speak to them about creating a healthy lifestyle, right? And so that's what I want to emphasize, that this is not a short-term fix. Anything that we do within a month or two for aesthetics of the body, or a short-term goal to get to a particular event, showing up and looking a particular way, I am here to help people to incorporate rest, exercise, eating properly, other type of modalities of wellness for a healthy lifestyle. So I'm hearing January 1st, but I'm going to talk to you about the long term. Really, I am. And for me, I experienced that kind of January 1st needing to reset myself out of a a emotional kind of breakup with a lifestyle of being very attached to a particular type of relationship, a particular type of person who I was dating over and over, and having the same result, honestly, of having being disappointed and having my heart broken. And after such type of ending, which was again something that had happened several times, I was presented with an opportunity to participate in an event, which I am so glad that I paid attention to a flyer at the YMCA, which was advertising a charity bike ride for AIDS research, that I decided to participate in. And this was a long time ago. This was like in 1999 for the AIDS ride. And I made the decision to put my energy then, which were from, coming from, again, just being really devastated, being down. I was not happy with my job at the time, and to put my energy into learning to train myself for this bike ride. And I put everything into it. And I successfully, after 6 months, I successfully completed this training program, which took me to the beginning of the finish line, of the beginning of a 330-mile bike ride, which I then successfully completed. And I just share that story with you because it was because of the experience of that training and the group of people that I trained with, and the camaraderie, but also seeing the physical and the mental changes that I went through, and that the group that I was training with went through, that I made the decision that I wanted to help people to do that more often. Like the trainers who have trained me, I wanted to participate in the transformations that I saw that the people in my training group and that I myself had gone through. And I made the decision to become a certified personal trainer. And so I took, a situation where I was just feeling completely at a very low rock bottom, place, and put energy into bettering myself and being a part of a wonderful group of people for a bigger goal besides just me, for this charity, which we had to raise, money for, and then work our asses off to get through. And it was something that I look back on like it was really the reason why I was probably in that position, was so that I could come out on the other side and I could help so many other people to experience that type of transformation for themselves.
Ah, man, that is incredible. One of the questions I love to ask is you're sharing a little bit of the story and some things you've been through, and thanks for being vulnerable on this particular episode. So I like to ask the question, what's one of the best pieces of advice that you've ever been given, right? And I always frame it around that you had so many mentors along this journey of life that have helped you. That never heard you say so far you got here by yourself, right? So that tells me there were some mentors, whether they were there with you, whether it was your mom, whether it was you reading the book or watching folks online that helped you get to where you are today. And so the question is, and for those folks that are home, this is a chance you can lean in right now because you get to walk away
Mhm.
with, a piece of advice. You get to walk away with something that's near and dear to Coach E's heart that you can use on your own journey. So here's the question: what's one of the best pieces of advice that you've ever been given?
It's really simple. Okay. I mean, it's going to sound so simple when I say it. But I was a student at Howard University, and I was approached by another student, a friend of mine, who was selling some T-shirts on campus that some friends of his who were artists at an art school in Philadelphia were hand painting, and he wanted to sell these shirts, and he wanted to partner with me to sell these shirts at a festival. And I was thinking, how are we going to do this? We're college students. How are we going to set up at this festival? And I talked to a good friend of mine, and this person, has actually has a good friend, but is my aunt, and she's very close in age. I consider her just be like a sister almost, honestly. And I said, how are we going to do this? How are we going to just like show up as a business? Honestly, this is my very first introduction as an entrepreneur. And she's like, just try, just try. If you don't try, then you're not going to we're going to disappoint yourself because you'll never know what happened, and then you will possibly be surprised at the outcome. So she said, just try, just put forth the effort to get the table to set up and just try it. And I've actually applied just that simple advice for every step of along the way, and opportunity that's been presented to me. And there have been so many ups and downs, but then so many opportunities along the way to do things in a lot of different industries outside of fitness. Fitness has been what has stuck and what I know I'm called here to do, but I haven't always been able to afford, if you will, the opportunity to do it full time. I wasn't always able to just work with people and just do my passion full time, right? Other things, the bills had to be paid, and I had to do that other ways. But I've always come back to what I am doing because I know it is why I am here and what I'm supposed to be sharing and how I'm supposed to be serving. And so I keep trying every single time and just move it forward.
I love it. What do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world, making a difference for everybody else?
I love to travel. Costa Rica is one of my happy places. I've been able to go there just recently and to do active adventures. I love to kayak. I learned to surf in Costa Rica.
No way.
I love
I've
to
never surfed. That
mountain
sounds
bike.
cool.
Yeah, I just love to be out in nature, honestly. And you're in Washington, D.C. I miss Rock Creek Park because that's one of the places that I have been able to spend so much time just outside doing things that I just love to do, whether it's walking, riding my bike, or running, So just being out in nature and being active.
Great. As we come down the home stretch, folks may be wondering, number one, what type of clients is your firm taking on these days? So please let us know what type of clients, if any, that your firm's taking on. And number two, how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have right now?
Yeah, definitely. So, right now, I am really focused on speaking to that overextended, as I said, that overcommitted professional Black woman who is looking to create a lifestyle that includes a lot more. They know that there's a lot more for them other than maybe even this beautiful life that they built with their family or their work or their career or their own business, that there's something else that they are wanting to be a part of that picture, that would be more fulfilling or add to the fulfillment for them. And I want to share with them the practice that I am still working on myself, even, but that has been able to be a resource of really empowerment and fulfillment for both my partner and I. So we're looking to help Black women to just pause, to share with them a practice that helps them to breathe deeply, to connect further inward, and to then bring forth their big vision. Okay, that's possible. And people think that it requires you to do more and to, do more activity, to put more on your to-do list. When we hold to the opposite as a principle, that if you stop and actually do less, then you can be more fulfilled. And that uh, you can connect with us via our social media, right? We're all here, we're all on social media. We've said it a couple of times, but the name of our business is Rest, Restore, Reset. We are on Facebook at that, on LinkedIn, and on the internet at www.restrestorereset.com.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thanks so much for having me on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We've got to have you back again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. This has been awesome.
And thank you. Thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here, by the way, because, without you sharing this message, without you showing up, without you being here, there is no show. And it gives us encouragement to continue to help folks have a better life so they can do the things they were called to do. And I love to share as often, and I think it's been every episode so far, that as you're watching right now, from the bottom of my heart, and I truly mean it, I want you to know that you're super, super incredible. That you're one of a kind, that you are unique, and that you right now have so much greatness inside you, and that for you today, in fact, is your January 1st. And just because of that one reason, sometimes you only need one reason to hold on to. Because of that one reason, your best, I believe, is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. I promise you, your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless, and we wish you success. Bye-bye. Peace. So long, Coach E. We out.